about 45 million pounds of chips in a quarter. That equates to about 200 million pounds of potatoes, which is quite a few. What's interesting with M&T is they're a small town bank, and as we've grown, they've also grown with us. They've got the resources that you would need in order to go big, but they also have that friendly local community feel so that it makes it seem easier than it probably is.
Hello and welcome to Candidates Upfront. I'm Renee Dietrich, a member of the League of Women Voters. On June the 2nd, the primary election is coming up. This is the election in which the main political parties, the Democrats and Republicans, choose their candidates. You must be registered to vote as a Republican or Democrat to choose your party's candidate. However, no matter what your party is, or if you don't have one, every registered voter may vote on ballot questions, and there are 5 of them for the City of Reading voters. This year, the Berks Community Television and the League of Women Voters have joined forces to provide you with information on all the candidates in contested races, and we will provide information on the ballot questions as well. The contested races this spring are the 9th Congressional District for the Democratic Party and the 127th Pennsylvania House of Representatives District for both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. In each district, the candidates will get the same questions and have the same amount of time to answer each one. That's 1 minute. We have done this so you can compare them. Please note, if you are not yet registered, you have until May 18 to do that. If you need more information on registering to vote, visit elections@countyofberks.com or phone our Berks County Department of Election Services at 610-478-6490. This year, you can vote by mail-in ballot, and the application is at the same website or same phone number. Please note that the opinions which are expressed on this program are those of the candidates and not necessarily those of the League of Women Voters or Berks Community TV. This forum is for the contest in the 127th Pennsylvania House. The district includes most of the city of Reading and the borough of Kenhurst. This forum includes Republicans Vincent Gagliardo Jr. and Braden Moyer. Welcome. So let's begin. And our first question, and Mr. Gagliardo, you're first on this. First question is, why do you want to be a state representative, and what are your qualifications for the position?
Well, I have experience in government in the past and currently. I used to be a Reading City Councilman. I have numerous accomplishments as being a Reading City Councilman, which was like 20 years ago. We renegotiated the Reading Phillies contract. I was part of the council that built the Santander Arena and brought the ambulance into the fire department of Reading. I do believe I am the best qualified choice for this open seat. And with that, I want to thank Tom Calvagerone for the many years. I believe now he was the longest serving legislator in Pennsylvania. And I'm just looking to continue with helping the community. I am currently a Kenhurst councilman right now. I moved back to where I originally grew up. I lived in Reading for a number of years, and I grew up in Kenhurst, and now I'm back in Kenhurst. I'm just looking to, get back into it.
Okay, Braden, tell us why you want to be a rep and what your qualifications are.
I'd like to first start out by thanking everyone and thanking Vince for joining here. And thank you to the League of Women for having this opportunity for us to discuss. The reason why I'd like to run for state representative is a couple. To help the community, which is a perfect classic reason to run for office. You see your community that needs help, and you believe that you have the skills to fill that need. Another reason is advocating for causes. There's maybe a specific cause in the be a community, that there's a certain policy that is affecting that I feel that we can bring change to, and accountability. We need to bring accountability back to local government and really define what local government's job is and how we can really help the community in expanding economically, but also socially in our city, and just create an overall positive experience for our citizens, both
Thank
here and
you.
in Penhurst.
Time up. Thank you. Next question. Following the census, state legislators will redraw the lines for state and federal officials for their district. This has led to gerrymandering. In other words, districts favor one party. Do you think this is fair to voters? And if not, what would you do to give voters fair districts? And Braden, you're first on this one.
Is there any way to repeat that? I think I lost you there.
Sure. Following the census, state legislators will draw redistrict lines for state and federal officials. In other words, what district you run in. This has led to gerrymandering. Districts that favor one party. Do you think this is fair? If not, what would you do to give voters fair districts? 1 minute.
I don't think that's fair. Obviously, our election is designed to have a voice for all. And I think certain parameters need to be discussed in forming certain geographical distances as far as voting areas. So it seems like every census year the map changes, and it seems that every presidential election there seems to be a one direction in one party and then another in the other party. So I think we do need to come up with some sort of solution to be fair for all voters so that all voices are heard.
Okay, Mr. Gagliardo, what's your take on this?
Okay, there's never been a Republican sitting in the 127th district. The lines were drawn and redrawn and redrawn to benefit the Democratic Party. It's as simple as that, which is why Tom Calderone held it for so long. I believe we should get an independent study put together of fair people and let them do it. The legislators in the Senate could start with it, but the final answer should be with an independent study, as long as it's drawn fair. Or in today's technology, you have the computer. Put it into a computer and let the computer draw the lines, as long as the registered voters in the district are put down properly. It's been a long time since Berks County has eliminated people that moved or are now deceased or anything. Right now, there's like 70 to 80% Democrats in this district. How is a Republican supposed to win? Well, with what's going on in
Thank
the world
you.
now.
Time's up. Time's up. Thank you. Next question, and Mr. Gagliardo, you're first on this. Many legislators favor doing away with the property tax to fund public schools. What are your thoughts on how to properly fund public schools?
Many legislators are not favoring doing away with property taxes. Otherwise, they would have done it by now. You have people, candidates that are running that are favoring it. People like Brendan, people like myself. We are in favor of eliminating the school property tax. And if you increase the sales tax by just a small amount, you'll be able to handle that. And that will in turn make everyone paying equal, instead of people that own homes versus people that rent or other ways. If you need to do away with it. How many times do you want somebody to pay for their house? You're chasing elderly people out of their homes, and it needs to stop. And both of us are for eliminating the property tax and helping our seniors and veterans.
Thank you. Braden?
Yeah, to parallel what Vince said, we both agree on eliminating property taxes, and it has to be for all, not just seniors, but for all across the board, which is really going to help Pennsylvania and its economy. Over 10,000 people a year lose their homes because of they can't pay their property taxes. And to me, that is actually a state of emergency, in my opinion. With respect with Vince, and I agree with him with raising the sales tax a bit, and also even raising the income tax a bit as well, and possibly raising the casino tax to get that also into one lump sum, and to help alleviate the billions of dollars required for the funding for property taxes. So yeah, I'm definitely for that, and we need to make change. It's been 30 years, and we've put a man on the moon quicker than we have eliminating property taxes in one state. And to me, that is a disgrace to the Commonwealth.
Thank you. Let's talk about the minimum wage here. Do you support raising the minimum wage, and what should it be? And Braden, you're first.
Well, minimum wage is a tricky situation. Both Vince and I, we're small business owners, and we know what a wage growth will do to our business. People are for, $12, $15 an hour wage. But unfortunately, government doesn't determine wage. That's the market value. If a company wants to pay their employees, just say McDonald's, $15 an hour for full-time work, you're going to be paying $10 for a cheeseburger, and that's without the large Coke and fry. So if you're comfortable with paying a lot more for your supplies as a business person, go for it. But to dictate a higher wage across the board, you're going to destroy small businesses. And unfortunately, right now, due to COVID-19, small businesses are hurting very, very well, or a lot across the board. So I wouldn't recommend it right now. It's just something that economically is not really good for small businesses.
Okay, Mr. Gagliardo, what's your thought about the minimum wage?
A lot of the states around us that surround us, they already have a minimum wage that is higher than Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is one of the lowest minimum wages around. Bringing it up to rough number, $9.25, $10. Everyone already is paying that. Almost all employees across the state are already paying that. Bringing it up to that shouldn't be a problem. If you went to $15, you're gonna ruin small business. You're gonna pay through the nose for every product that business is creating. It's a bad idea what the Democrats have with $15 an hour, and it would just fall into what's going on now with this COVID. They're ruining businesses by shutting everything down. There's no reason we shouldn't be open by now. If our governor would have handled everything properly, we would have been open by now. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the safety net problems. They're very significant in this time, like food assistance, housing assistance, medical care, that kind of things. Do you think these are adequate in Pennsylvania? And how would you change them? And Mr. Gagliardo, you're first.
I'm not sure I understand what you said. Say that again.
The safety net programs,
Yes.
like food assistance, housing assistance, are these adequate in Pennsylvania? And if not, how would you change them?
Are they adequate? Somewhat. I think that they go a little bit too far in certain instances and not enough in others. Right now in Kenhurst, the Olivet's Boys and Girls is hosting a food benefit over at the borough. I think we're going to be moving that up to the playground possibly, or somewhere different, because it's creating a traffic hazard. But they're handing out food that are supposedly for Kenhurst children. Well, people are coming in from all over for it, and that's not right. So that's part of the problem with it. And the good thing about it is people are getting fed, but they're also doing it in other places. So, stay to your area, be true to the programs that are being supplied to you, because if you be true to them, then more can be provided for you. It is a good thing that's happening, and we probably need a little more help.
Thank you.
Going on.
Mr. Moyer, your thoughts?
Well, during the current state of affairs with our pandemic that's happening, people who've never been on assistance before are now taking assistance. And, before this entire thing ever happened, I had questioned a few components of the safety net programs, such as food stamps and such. But during this time, it really plays an important part on how we're getting through this. I still think that some of the programs do need to be reworked. I think we're giving too much, and people are doing very little to help themselves in regards to assistance. So I think it's important that we don't create a society of dependence on the government, much so as getting people back to work. But currently, right now, the systems and places like that are working. They're helping us, and we need more than ever right now to get us through this hump.
Thank you. I want to follow up on that. Should there be work requirements to get benefits? And should you have to be a citizen to get these benefits?
Me first?
No, Braden is first.
Okay. Yes, you should be a U.S. citizen to get these benefits because it's U.S. citizens that are paying into this pool. If you are an immigrant that is on a visa and not of the, originally from this country, life is going to be a little tough for you. I mean, it's just the way it is. However, that doesn't mean you have to fail. But in regards to that, yeah, I believe you have to be a U.S. citizen to get these benefits and move on from there. Yep.
Would there be a work requirement?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I believe there should be a work requirement to get help because you can't just be sitting at home collecting and having all our taxpayer money going right to you just to give nothing to society. So you have to benefit the society in somehow in order to get rewarded from the society.
Thank you. And Mr. Gagliardo, what your thoughts are?
That's exactly that. Brandon and I are on the same page. It's either way you're going to get this, or you're going to have a good candidate. I just prefer myself. But yes, they should have to work for it as long as they're able to work for it. I don't have a problem. If somebody can't work for it, they deserve it. They deserve it more than the other person that can work for it. Illegals, no, they don't deserve what we have created, what the people of this country, this community, this state, everyone, we paid for that. Why would someone else that doesn't really belong here yet take a benefit away from someone that does? It's simple. I mean, they just don't belong doing it, and they should work for it. They worked for it in the past. They should work for it now.
Thank you. Let's move on to infrastructure. What is your plan to address crumbling infrastructure in the state? And Mr. Gagliardo, you're first on that.
Well, we need to take a close look at what is going on with the road projects and why they're taking so long to complete. Why they're costing so much is another big thing. We need to negotiate better with the construction companies that are doing the jobs and the big utility companies that are ripping the roads up. For instance, UGI, the water department. When they do a job, get in, do the job right, get it fixed, move on. And when one is doing one, they need to coordinate with the other one so that we don't rip up a road, repair a gas line, pave it, and come back, rip up a road, repair a sewer line, repave it, and then come back again. They need to coordinate with each other better, and government's going to need to step in there and put some guidelines down to requirements to make sure jobs are done timely, efficiently, cost-wise, and overall good project.
Time's up. Thank you. Braden?
I would actually like to ask the question of transparency. Where is all this money going with our taxes? Pennsylvania is one of the highest taxed state in the country, and yet our roads look atrocious. In fact, when you travel across state lines, you know when you're across another state because you're out of Pennsylvania and you can see the condition of the road. To me, that is pitiful, and the amount of money that we're paying for road conditions, for building conditions. I mean, I'm actually really surprised we got the bridges done, and I'm thankful for that. To know at least where our tax dollars are going. But there needs to be transparency within the government to know where is this tax money going? for infrastructure that was promised way before. So even like the turnpike fees, so I really would like to know where that money is going, and so do a lot of my constituents, because they're getting really tired of paying these high taxes and living in a city that is falling apart.
Thank you. From BCTV, how much time do we have left? Well, let's continue and let me know how much time we have left. Let's talk about gun controls. What do you think are common sense gun controls, gun violence controls the state should have in place? And Braden, you're first.
Well, I am definitely for our Second Amendment right. It is an important right to us. It's what our forefathers thought. And, in regards to gun rights, should you have an ID to purchase a gun? I think you do. If you have to have an ID to vote, if you have to have an ID to get a mortgage from your bank, I think you have to have an ID to get, at least a weapon. Not saying that you're not able to, but at least, you do something stupid, we can track you and know where to help law enforcement track you down and prevent people who shouldn't have weapons never to have a weapon again. So I think there's a protection aspect of it for our society, but everyone who is legal here in the country, who is an American citizen, should have that right to have a right to bear arms in their community.
Thank you. Mr. Gagliardo.
Our right to bear arms has been there for how long? Everyone in this country deserves to bear an arm. The only thing you should have to have is ID. You should have ID to vote. It's as simple as that. You shouldn't be going to a poll to vote unless you have ID. That's how you ensure good elections without fraud. Our Second Amendment right shall not be infringed upon in any way whatsoever. It's as simple as that. I mean, I don't know why they keep trying to push gun rights, gun rights, gun rights. Criminals will always get a gun because that's how they got them. I'm going to have something to protect myself, and there ain't no government going to take my gun away from me. Thank you.
Okay. Tell me, what are the three most important things you hope to accomplish if you're elected as a state representative?
Wow. My turn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, three's tough. I have a lot more than that. But one is gun rights. That's one. I have a lot more than three. Taxes, the property taxes is another one. A big thing to me is term limits. Then we'll eliminate all of this stuff that's going on. If you put term limits in place, you're not going to be paying some political person's pension for forever and a day. You're going to have a lot more money in government to spend once you eliminate all these pensions that are going on. If the top guy can only have 8 years, everybody else should only have 8 years. It's as simple as that.
That's it?
Yep. Unless you let me go to all my other ones, I got about 12.
Well, you have 15 seconds, so
Voter ID, business growth. I'm all for pro-animal rights, minimum wage. I'm pro-life. The school taxes and the trade schools. It just goes. Our lists are long, and I'm sure Brendan's is long too. We got to stop the Democrats from making a mess of things.
Time's up. Braden, what are your priorities here? Three that you want to accomplish?
Well, let me start out by saying insanity is voting the same way and expecting different results all these years. Our district, even our city of Reading, is just falling apart. It has been for many decades, and we need to step up to the plate. The voters need to vote a Republican in to get the job done. We need to bring jobs back. And to shadow what Vince had said with eliminating property taxes, which will help a lot of even renters in the city, which is definitely important. But also, I like to try to solve the parking solution in the city of Reading. Reading is inundated with so many vehicles way beyond its capacity. I like to help out with that, either providing grants for demolishing buildings to create parking lots, The list does go on, and a lot of it Vince mentioned. So, but gun rights is another thing. Pro-life, we definitely have to get more involved in that and help protect the unborn.
Thank you. Time's up.
Thank you.
I think we had time for maybe one more question and a closing comment. So, talk about the environment. What do you think the state should do to keep the planet more habitable? And Braden?
Well, it's expensive to have a really clean environment, believe it or not. It really is. But for my city, it starts with cleaning it up. And that is something that we can do, first off. And that's what I pledged to do in my first 2 years of term, is helping the city of Reading create a plan to clean up the streets. I don't want to see any trash. We got to beautify this. And once you beautify the city of Reading, you're going to bring in opportunity for growth in environmental protection. At first, environmental protection is very expensive. It really is, even in today's technology. We're just not there yet. But that doesn't mean we can't start thinking of the future and how to find out a way to do this at a more cost-effective approach. So I am for a cleaner environment. We just got to figure out a way that it's going to create jobs and not take away jobs at the same time.
Thank you. Mr. Gagliardo.
Yes, I'll just keep expanding on what Brandon said. The city of Reading used to be beautiful. There used to be people outside sweeping their pavements, sweeping their gutter. And I drive around, I'm in the tow truck all day. There's some people that do it. There is no respect anymore. Respect was taught in school and by your parents. It's not anymore. Some of the parents belong in school because they're not teaching their kids properly. And that's the people that come in from the outside that have not learned that from their parents. And it's wrong. We'll have to focus on that through education as far as environmental issues and respect. And that in turn will help clean things up. I mean, I remember being city councilman and we were sweeping the streets. We were picking up trash everywhere. We held organizational things that we met and we did it. So thank you.
Okay, now closing comment. Mr. Gagliardo, you first.
Okay. I do believe that I am the best qualified choice for this open seat, and I will fight for all the issues I have stated below. I am committed to working together as a team with the community to get our goals done quickly and efficiently. I know the entire district. I worked the entire district. I lived in the entire district. I can name you every street in the city of Reading. I have lived and worked in the district. I have the integrity, the determination to get changes in Harrisburg that need to be done to help everyone in the great Commonwealth. The difference is I have the experience, the honesty, and I'm committed to the community. And if Brendan wins, I will be helping him. If he wins, I'm hoping he helps me. We're two of a kind to us. I know his father. He was a wonderful police officer. Thank you to the League of Women Voters.
Okay, Braden?
All right. Thank you, Vince, for the kind words. And yes, I will be helping you if you win the candidacy in the primary. And again, this is a community effort, and this is not a party effort either. This is on all sides. Everyone has to help, no matter what party you're on, if you're Republican, Democrat, independent, whatever. We all live in the same community. We all need to help each other out. For the reasons that I mentioned throughout this entire video, which I think a lot of people can agree on, that and stand behind, that these are the qualifications and the reasons to vote for me as well, to get the job done. I want to bring jobs back to this region. I've got to get people back to work more than ever now after COVID-19. And I may not be old, but I'm young, and I got some wit to me. As a small business owner here in Reading, I know what it takes to lead a group of people to do far beyond what they've imaginable. So I really think I'm, for the.
Thank you. Time's up.
Sorry.
Thank you, candidates, for sharing your message with the BCTV viewers. And thank you, audience, for watching Candidate Upfront. These programs are brought to you in the public interest by Berks Community Television and the League of Women Voters, and they're sponsored by M&T Bank. I'm Renee Dietrich, and I thank you. Just remember, your vote is your voice. Remember to say something on June the 2nd. Thank you.
We make about 45 million pounds of chips in a quarter. That equates to about 200 million pounds of potatoes, which is quite a few. What's interesting with M&T is they're a small town bank, and as we've grown, they've also grown with us. They've got the resources that you would need in order to go big, but they also have that friendly local community feel so that it makes it seem easier than it probably is.